Hey, Dr. Laura, how are you today?
Good. What can I do for you?
Well, I had a question. My wife and I are wondering how to talk to our daughter. She's almost 5 years old, about death and heaven, and just want to make sure we're setting her on the right track. We had a family pet pass away about 2.5 years ago, pretty abruptly, and we've had her great-grandparents pass away, one earlier this year and one just recently. And she doesn't seem to be grasping the concept of death and heaven very well, and wanted to get your opinion on how we should talk to her.
I have a question. What's your grasp on death and heaven? Tell me. Can't wait to hear it.
Well, it's very final. Death is something that when I was younger, I don't think it was.
No, I don't want to hear about when you were younger. I want to know right now, what is your grasp on death and heaven? Right now, in like 3 or 4 sentences.
Sure. Death to me is very final. It's an end, but I do believe there's an afterlife that is better than this life on earth, especially now with everything going on that's crazy in the world. So that's kind of where my
I have always thought that's one of the worst things to tell anybody. I have always thought that was just horrible. Horrible. It's a better place. Nobody who loses somebody they love wants to hear that. And you certainly don't tell a kid who can then kill herself and go to a better place, because the world sucks right now. The world has always sucked.
Exactly.
There's never been a time in history where the world didn't suck. It's just that you have CNN now and the internet. During the Grand Inquisition, when people were killed right and left, the Crusades, I could go on. The world has always sucked. It's our job to try to make it better. And that's how you raise your kids. So I was good. It's final, but you can't say something is final if then there's part 2, which is even better. Please don't tell a kid that it's better, because a kid's mind will be, well, shit, I want to go there now.
I agree, and we haven't portrayed to her that it's a better place, and that was kind of my feeling on it.
I just asked you what your grasp was, and that's what you said, because ultimately, whatever your grasp is, that's what you tell her. That's the belief. But you could also tell her some people don't think there's a heaven, and they think you just sort of stop. We think there's a heaven, and when we go to funerals and when we think about a person who has gone to heaven, we think very good thought. I mean, you can go into what the process is. It gives them something lovely, because not everybody believes in heaven. So you need to tell her, not that that's an absolute truth, but that this is what we believe. And there are people who believe otherwise, or otherwise she's going to get into all kinds of fights and come back to you one day and say, hey, I don't think there's a heaven. So sit down with your wife and come to some agreement on how you want to express to your daughter your own beliefs. But please don't say it's better. It's better. Being with your mommy and daddy is better. Now go do the right thing.
Still to this day, if I listen